field, played basketball. Still love to run, love
You are
basketball.
running a lot? Because the last time we met a year or so ago, you were getting into running quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been loving it. I'm
Good.
doing quite a bit of. I did a challenge with some people from my church to try to raise some money for a pretty good cause in January. So we 60 ended up doing 62 miles. So
I think it's so hot in here. 62 miles. Turn the air conditioner on. I don't care.
Perfect. Ready to roll?
yeah,
Let's go. We're live. What's going on, guys? Angel told not to here with Quick Leads Local, and this is your local realtor spotlight podcast. Today, we're here with Sam Foltz,
Sam.
Troy with the intro.
Thanks, Angel. Troy Thompson, Pinnacle Insurance, and Sam Foltz. I've known him for a year or so now. Great family man. Super excited. He's with Fulton Realty, and he's just going to have a lot of value for the podcast today. Sam, go ahead and introduce yourself.
yeah. Thanks for having me, Troy. It's great
You're
to be here. Thanks for doing this. And yeah, a little bit about me. Live in Shoreview, Minnesota. Married, have 2 kids.
Beautiful kids, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. A 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. Actually got started in real estate about 10 years ago. My wife and I house hacked. So our first property was a duplex. We lived in the top floor and rented out the bottom to some people we know. And did that
House
for-
hacked.
Yeah.
What's the definition of house
I
hack?
like that.
House hacking is actually kind of a trendy topic these days in sort of the millennial investor world. So really what it is you're living in one half or hacking the duplex in half and you're renting out the other half. So you're cutting down your living expenses, your rent, or like a lot of people, it's their first home. So they're essentially getting their living expenses covered, their mortgage covered by rental income. So for us, our example, our mortgage at that time at that property was about $1,200, and we rented it out for $1,000 in the lower unit. So we were living
$200 a month. That's not a bad deal.
for 200, and we owned a house in Northeast Minneapolis. So yeah.
So you weren't a realtor then, though, right?
Nope, that was before I got started. I was a business owner and just looking at it more as an investment. So yeah.
Cool. So that was 10 years ago, and then did you eventually buy more and more properties?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got started in real estate. I always wanted to, my goal wasn't just to buy one property. I always wanted to buy multiple properties and find ways to add value. So a little bit about, my background. My dad was a carpenter. He did a lot of work with his hands. So like when I was really young, 14, 15 years old, I would go out on projects with him and help him. And so the idea of like fixing up a home, adding some value, building some equity through improvements, and also I had seen some friends and some mentors who were a little bit older than me in college that were doing this, and they were buying multifamily properties, renting them out, and making some good cash flow. And so the idea of sort of a relatively passive stream of income coming in, but also building equity in something that's real and tangible was pretty exciting for me. So we just started to, buy a property every year to 2 years was kind of our goal. And so
Were you flipping, or are you holding on to most properties?
long-term holds. So yeah.
You, man.
And then I started sharing it with friends and family, how a lot of people get into the business. Just you start telling people about it. We were passionate about it. I've seen other people kind of jump in my network, and and then I started with Fulton Realty, just engaging in the business full time because I previously had owned a residential painting company, and so just made that sort of transition to full time real estate a couple years ago, and that's been just super fun. So yeah.
House hacking. Do you know who Angelo Fraponi is, by any chance?
Yeah, I know Angelo. Yeah.
Because we had him on the
Yeah.
podcast too, and
Yeah.
him and his wife Megan do a little bit of house hacking.
Yep.
You could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you do the Airbnb style thing yet? Is that something you dipped your toes in?
No, I've thought about it, and that could be like a whole nother podcast. I'm more of a long-term rental landlord, and that's kind of what I'm focused on right now, although I know some people that have done pretty well with Airbnb. It's a little bit different animal. I've biggest concern with that is I think of that as more of like diving into the hospitality industry because it's very review driven. And so, if I had a good relationship with a company that could kind of manage that and oversee it, I'd probably
Okay.
be more excited. But for me personally, the idea of kind of trying to manage all the reviews that are coming in and changing
Sure,
the
sure.
sheets and towels and things like that just
No
seems
doubt.
a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, it can be a pretty cool
Mhm.
investment for certain homes in certain areas and things like that. So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I imagine with your expertise with rental properties, that might be your niche as far as a realtor goes, helping people find those good opportunities themselves.
Yeah, a perfect client. People that I love working with are folks that are like getting into their first duplex. They see value in this concept of house hacking, of living sort of well below their means and bringing in that rental income. So I love helping first time duplex buyers, but also really anyone who wants to just add value in a property or has wants to rent out a property. That's a huge part of my client base, and yeah, I would say it's definitely a specialty of not only my personal business but also Fulton Realty. We hold a lot of seminars for investors. We're just keeping up with the different tax changes, different zoning changes is a big thing in Minneapolis.
Yeah, you might as well dive into that right now. Tell us about what you were saying earlier.
The 2040 plan is kind of the buzz where Minneapolis has opened up pretty much the whole city to 2-unit, in some areas up to 4-unit buildings in areas that used to be classified as single family. So really exciting for investors that may, especially like a home that already has potential, like maybe it's a duplex, but it has an attic that could be finished and converted into another unit, like
a triplex.
Yeah, a triplex type of situation. So Minneapolis is more receptive to allowing those type of units or those type of conversions. So
That's surprising because Minneapolis is usually really stringent on
Yeah.
various things, aren't they? But
yeah, they can be tough to work with, and you definitely have to follow all the city processes, the permitting, and sometimes you have to bring certain things up to the today's standard. So it's not necessarily just easy to do, but it's just opening it up to create some opportunities. I think for just anyone really who wants to get into a property and sort of maximize the potential and so something I'm excited about.
absolutely. So how do people find you, Sam? People that want to get into investing in real estate.
Yeah, they can find me on our website, my Facebook page, my
Just
number.
Google Sam Foltz.
Sam
probably?
Foltz Realtor. And,
How do you spell your name?
Uh, my last name is Foltz.
Perfect. How do you spell Sam?
S-A-M.
I love it.
Very cool, very cool. So, man, that's a huge opportunity, especially all those single family houses that could potentially turn into duplexes, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
there can be opportunity there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What are some of the things, as an expert, somebody would look for as far as like a valued property to potentially turn into a duplex that's just a single family unit?
Yeah, it needs to have the space and, I guess an example maybe there, you see some single family homes that have a pretty large, uh, like, maybe it's a non-conforming, like a mother-in-law suite or a large accessory space. There's some interesting homes out there. So something like that where it could have a separate entrance where you could build a wall, and then ideally you'd add separate mechanicals. So
Sure.
that's an option. With this new zoning change, there's also potential for people to tear down really run down property and essentially just build new.
Build a
So
brand new duplex, triplex,
you're
fourplex.
Yep, you're seeing more of those like brand new duplexes, brand new fourplexes in some of these really high demand rental areas, Northeast Minneapolis, South Minneapolis, where for a 2-bedroom you can get $1,400. So you multiply that by 4,
That's paying your mortgage and then some right away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
Wow. So I don't know how to swing a hammer, how to do any kind of stuff like you do.
Right.
So if if you were my realtor and I was looking to buy an investment property, you'd be willing to come out with me and say, you know, let me know if that makes sense and what needs to be done, and then put me in touch with the right people to help
Yeah,
convert some of these
absolutely.
properties?
Yeah, I love doing that. I mean, I love seeing homes that are ugly, that need work, that need love. And some of the ones that, they sell pretty quick, but are all staged and nice. I do some of that work as well, but there's not usually a lot of, potential as an investment property. So some of the ones that need a lot of work. I love helping my
You have the
clients.
ability, the know-how on how to make something to see through because I can't see through the
That's what's
shag carpet,
tough,
the
right.
ugly old vinyl flooring and stuff. I'll just go in there and say, oh, no, I can't see it. But
Yeah.
you have that vision to see what it could potentially look like. And the
Yeah,
costs
yeah.
associated with that.
Yep, and I like helping my clients understand that too. There's a term called ARV, so what the after repair value of a property is, also what the cash flow is or their cash on cash return. But even if, they're just looking for some guidance with a few things, some homes just need a little TLC, and you have to and they could be, not necessarily looking for an investment property, but just looking for a fair price, and it's a challenging market. So, being able to put them in contact with some great contractors that I've worked with or people in our network that we work with on a pretty regular basis, who can do things at a very reasonable rate.
That's really hard these days to find those guys.
Yeah,
Find the companies that have the time, the ability, because all the contractors seem to be super overwhelmed right now too, right?
Yeah, it's something we're dealing with. So, yeah, and something my clients have said in reviews and just giving me feedback on is that, they felt like it was some of the work even after the sale that they were really happy with some of the connections I gave them through contractors, just in getting, finding a good plumber, finding a good flooring guy. I'm always letting my clients know, we're going through, we're working on getting a home or getting a home ready to sell. But if there's anything down the road that you need, because there's always going to be some unforeseen items and projects that'll come up, just let me know, because chances are I know a guy. My wife, yeah, my wife and I are actually going through two. She's managing two single family renovation projects, and both of them are pretty extensive.
So that you guys own.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna renovate and rent out long term?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So just two single family, kind of undervalued. They both needed about 40,000 in work, and then with that work, we were able to build about the same amount, 40,000 in equity. But we're deciding just to keep them as rentals and just,
long term, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
More millionaires are made through real estate than any other occupation by far. That's the strategy to have. Just hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, Sam, if somebody a client was interested in getting started with more of what you do, what are some tips you can give to being a first-time landlord? Because I know that's a
That's a
big
good question.
roadblock for a lot of people who want to start investing is being the landlord, quote unquote. What are some tips that you've learned along the way, the bumps in the road that you've learned, and how could you provide value to our audience in that regard?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are afraid of the horror stories that they hear out there. And what I would say is 90% of tenants are good people and they want to pay their rent. You'll have some problems, and it's not as difficult as a lot of people make it out to be, because nobody really talks about the positive.
You just hear the horror stories.
You hear the horror stories, right? And so, I would say, there's a lot of great resources, a lot of good technology, but you do want to do a few things, like really think about when you're purchasing, what demographics are you looking to attract in a renter. So, because that, depending on where you buy, that, if you're buying near the U of M, you're bringing in students. So,
Caregivers.
Yeah. What are you trying to do there? And then how are you screening and selecting your tenants?
All stuff you can give advice on.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's really important. think when you're interviewing tenants, if you're managing them yourself, there's great property management solutions out there as well. You just, you want to ask the right questions, do take the proper steps. But I think, kind of where you buy and, kind of how you screen your tenants will help you in the long run. So
Great niche you have, Sam, but that's not the only thing you specialize in. You deal with the normal transactions, single family homes and stuff like that. And one question we love to ask people is, it's 2019 now. 2018 was a very interesting year in real estate. They're saying there's a shift.
Yeah.
Love to hear your take on what the so-called shift is and what it's going to be like for 2019.
Yeah, no, I hear that word a lot. It's thrown around quite a bit. And I recently listened to a podcast about 94% of the leading real estate economists, kind of experts that are watching the numbers are thinking that we're going to see about, maybe we're not going to see the crazy growth that we've seen the last couple of years. But we are going to see growth this year. So, 94% think we're going to continue to see growth, but at, maybe more like normal levels. So it's interesting that a lot of people are talking about a shift because about a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, we were at this crazy low inventory level, like 1.8, 1.6 month supply of inventory in certain areas. And so
Feeding frenzy, right?
everyone was talking about multiple offers. There's no inventory. So we're starting to see that improve now, but still really, really great time to sell. But
more of a seller's market than buyers.
It's definitely still a really strong time to sell. But people were kind of begging for like more inventory. We need more houses out there for buyers because there's such strong demand. And now we're starting to see inventory, and everyone's like, oh, are we seeing a shift? Is the economy gonna slow down? And I think in the next couple of years, we definitely aren't going to see the same growth. But I think, I don't think we're going to see anything like we saw in like 2008. So
what you're saying is maybe the only constant is that there's going to be change.
Yeah.
Don't panic over it.
There's always change. I wouldn't panic. I wouldn't change your overall plans. It's I think there's still great deals out there, but it's also a pretty good time to sell if you're thinking about selling.
So what's your superpower, Sam?
I can see through homes' walls, and I can see through the soil and inspect sewer lines.
What?
And I was prepared for this one. So.
Like Superman stuff. Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is, there are some unforeseen things with homes here. There's a little bit of risk with real estate, whether you're looking for a townhome or you're looking for a condo or you're looking at a really old investment property. But having someone that can sort of guide you through those and actually point you to the right direction. You're never going to really know everything, but I try to just help people, with the right inspectors, the right people that can kind of help make the process go really smooth. So.
Just talking to you, getting to know you over the last year, I think one of the powers you have is you're such a good dude. Just quality, man. Like one of the things you put on Facebook that I downloaded the app was one of those dad podcasts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know we were talking before the show started about how you're always focused on being a better husband, better dad. Yeah. And just everything you do is just so solid. It's just such so impressive. But would you mind sharing with us a little bit about how important family is, what motivates you?
Yeah, I love being a dad. It's with this business, one of my big goals. A lot of people are like, what are your goals this year? And for me, really just to spend more time with my family, with my kids. Last year was a big season of growth, and I'm going to continue to grow. But just really, putting the first things first. You don't ever look back on your life and say, gosh, I wish I would have
sold more houses,
gotten another house or built more equity, when you're 80, 90 years old. So, just, being more present, being more aware and blocking off. We're going to do a couple of weeks of vacation this year. And so just, making those things a priority. as far as, I'm pretty involved with my church. There's a great podcast for dads. So I'm just trying
What was
to,
the name of that podcast? Because I downloaded it and I have been listening to it.
yeah, it's called Dad Awesome. So,
Dad Awesome.
Pastor, I go to Substance Church, and a pastor friend of mine, Jeff Zog, started about a year ago, and just a weekly podcast for dads, just giving them some fresh advice. And there's a lot of resources out for moms out there and things, but you don't see a lot of these things for dads. So it's something that I just try to listen to as I'm driving to work.
A common theme I've seen, Sam, and this goes right into the next question. There's so many dads out there, in business, and moms are too, but you're so focused on checking your phone, checking your email, checking Facebook, text, and we usually like our guests to go on Facebook Live. That was very interesting that you actually have even removed Facebook from your phone. Can you tell us why you did that?
Because it's a bad habit of mine to I think social media can be a very powerful tool, but it can be a huge distraction. And I just took the app off my phone because I noticed that, I'd be, with my family, with my kids, and there's a little downtime, and you're just looking at the app and you're going through, and it's like, I don't really care where so-and-so
Your
went
kids
for vacation.
grabbing your arm like, will you color this picture with me? And
yeah.
why am I focused on this when it's so good.
Yeah.
I love that you did that.
And I'm thinking I should do that with Instagram too, because that can be a distraction as well. I don't use that app as much, but just the little things like that. Patterns of behavior. I'm just trying to pay attention to, and that was probably inspired from listening to that Dad Awesome podcast, and trying to really be there and create.
It's a battle because in sales you're trying to be responsive too and be there and comment on whatever they did, show that you're into them and whatnot. But it's a constant struggle.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
But speaking of technology, are there some other resources you use to help you in business? Maybe not necessarily social media, but
yeah, I mean, technology is just awesome. I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit of an older millennial, and some of this stuff, that's out there, and it's a tip of the iceberg type of thing where we're not utilizing as many tools as we could, but we are, using some cool technology with our listings, like 3D video walkthrough tours, so you can point and click and kind of walk your way through a house. And we're also, doing some like 3D or some virtual staging, so you can put in real furniture into a listing, and it looks real, but it's just been kind of virtually staged in the picture. So as far as communicating with people, I think Facebook, Instagram, those are phenomenal tools. I think for everything you want to lead to like that. There's nothing like a power of a handshake or an in-person meeting, but kind of getting those relationships started and nurturing them through. I know we've had some great like interactions through social media and probably scheduled this meeting through there, but it does lead to like I think it needs to lead to the in-person, face-to-face, picking up the phone. When I'm working with younger people, sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna pick up the phone and call you, but a lot of people are, texting, social media, which is great, but I think they're just great tools, but they can, you just have to be careful when you're getting distracted or worried about comparing yourself to what other people are doing, and or just wasting time. So,
I really appreciate that, man. Good stuff.
I love it. I have my speed round, my favorite part, quick speed round right here.
Actually, can I jump in?
Sure.
Because I had that one last question that I'd like to ask. Tell us one thing that nobody knows about you.
That's right.
Oh man, let's see. I would love to write a book. Not a lot of people know that. Something that I've thought about for a long time. My dad, he passed away in 2009. He was he was a hero, and he had a lot of interesting quotes and philosophies on life. And I'm different than him in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of similarities. I don't know what I would write a book about, but it would probably have some stories about him, and also just a little bit about real estate. I don't know. So that's just kind of
being a dad.
Yeah, kind of a
Awesome.
dream of mine is, maybe when I'm older to write a book.
You'll
so.
do it, man.
Love it.
I got you. All right.
Speed round time.
Let's do it.
Can't avoid it. Text or talking?
Talking.
Talking for sure. Favorite day of the week?
Let's see, Sunday,
Your favorite Minnesota city?
Duluth.
Ooh, I like. What do you know about
Went to
Duluth?
college up there. You and me?
Find out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. Look at that. I love it. Connection.
That was about 15 years before you were.
Your favorite city in the United States outside of Minnesota?
I'm gonna say Key Largo.
Never been, but it sounds.
I believe
Sounds
that's
delightful.
what are those? I think it's Key Largo. It's like right
Key
when you
West.
get into the Keys. Yeah, not Key West, but it's like closer to Miami. So yeah, I think it's Key Largo.
Nickname that your parents might have called you when you were young?
Little Tornado.
Little Tornado. Love it.
You kind of like your son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your daughter.
Yeah, more like my
More
daughter. She's in that 2-year-old crazy stage. So
Like your daddy.
The last song that you downloaded?
I don't even remember. I
Pass.
got pass.
I love it. Cake or pie?
I'd say pie.
Love it. Paper or plastic?
Paper.
Paper for sure. Your favorite Minnesota restaurant?
Oh man, that's right. It changes a lot because I like trying new things. It's something about me. I'm always trying new things. But Lisu's Thai Taste in Roseville is
Roseville.
kind of my new favorite. Close to home. Probably gonna go there tonight. So
I love that.
You get pho?
yeah, I've had that before. Yep.
I'm so hooked on this stuff. Yeah. He says Thai taste.
Love it. And the last question, what inspires you?
People. I think learning from other people and seeing what other people are doing. Yeah, I think.
You're in the right business.
Yeah.
People. That's what it's all about, right? That's pretty much every business, right? If you don't like people, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Awesome. Well spoken.
yeah, thank
Sam
you.
Foltz.
Foltz,
Yeah.
Fulton Realty.
Love it.
Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Such a fun time.
Yeah,
How do
thanks for having
people
me.
find you one more time, Sam?
Just Google Sam Foltz, Foltz, and pop up.
Pretty unique name, so no problems, right?
Yeah, well, there is a guy, put Sam Foltz Realtor, because there's a guy named Sam Foltz who's like a football player that comes up to. So.
Okay.
Love it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
fun.
This has been Angel Talamantes with Quick Leads Local
And Troy Thompson, Pinnacle Insurance.
at the Pinnacle Insurance Studio. Until next time, guys, thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.